So some time ago, a group of instructors contacted me and they said they have a problem. All of the student reports that they were grading were really written by AI. I'm going to tell you how we solved that. I'm Mathew Georghiou, creator of TeachingSuperhero.com, where I share how educators can apply experiential learning and game-based learning to boost student engagement and make teaching easier. So these group of instructors, they happen to be business instructors, although you can kind of use the same scenario almost any topic. And a common method for teaching business over the last several decades has been case studies. So you have some situation, typically it's a realistic situation of some real company, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. And it explains some difficult situation that a business manager, owner, executive team had to make, and what they did. And students would then have to analyze this and write some type of report on their analysis, maybe even of what their opinions might be of what the business managers, owners should have done in that situation. And often there's really no known answer. I mean, you might know what the result was, but you never know what an alternative result was because it's real world. So the case study method is not bad because it is somewhat experiential. You're getting students to do something, which is I'm always an advocate of doing versus listening or watching. Although listening and watching has its benefits as well, but it has to be used sparingly and for certain strategic reasons. But the challenge with AI is that now AI can do all that work. And we're in a period of time where students were having AI do all that work. And obviously it's a huge can of worms trying to police AI and all the drama that it caused. And these instructors who were, had, I think it was like 1,200 students. This was a college university, and they had like 1,200 students. So they were actually assessing hundreds of these reports, very much written by AI. So you can imagine how frustrating that is. So the solution was actually pretty simple, was to switch to a business simulation. So it was no longer some report that AI can do, it's an experience that the students had to do themselves. And if you choose the right simulation, in this case they chose a GoVenture simulation. They actually reviewed a whole bunch of other simulations and they chose one of our GoVenture ones. And the benefit is that you can't use AI to do the work for you. And it's a personalized experience. So it's not you reading some case, some situation about somebody else making some decision. This is you. This is your business. You're the case study. It's a living case study. And everything that happens is happening because of the decisions that you are making. Sometimes they're good decisions. Sometimes they're bad decisions. Sometimes they're good decisions with bad results because when you're playing in a competitive marketplace, you can't predict what your competitors are doing. And sometimes you can be making good decisions and still not end up with positive results because that's how the real world works. It's unpredictable. There's all sorts of interrelated variables that are affecting each other and so on. And so now this AI generated reporting activity can be replaced with a personalized simulation, much more experiential, much more personalized, and students can now discuss, reflect, and even write reports, do presentations, video, live presentations on their personal strategies, their personal experience, their personal case study, and how they would do things differently, what they've learned along the way, how they made adjustments to improve their results in the experience. So that is one way you can replace an AI prone activity with something more experiential and use that activity to make a more engaging experience for your students, to boost that student engagement, but also make your life easier because now you're not grading, the AI generated content or content that just is not really that meaningful for assessing your students. Anyway, check out TeachingSuperhero.com. You get more ideas like this. You can also subscribe to our free online community where you can access all sorts of resources that you can use in your classroom just like this, many of which are free. I'm Mathew Georghiou. Thanks for joining me.